Another day, another dollar. Good news, D20s are done, and well, at least this one will ship today. I gotta get this one painted. For this printer, you may think, oh, that's a classic nozzle clog, but it really isn't. The problem we were having, for astute viewers of Yonder, the extruder mechanism was not turning. And the solution I found was to not adjust the speed in the middle, which worked for over a week. Now, I didn't adjust the speed this time, so you have to ask, why is the extruder not turning? And I don't know. Maybe it's just some kind of fluke thing. We'll just reprint it. The good news, of course, this is not very much plastic at all, so not very much wasted. Over here, almost all good news. Got a pretty big order, a medium order of shoe feet. Yes, these go on your wall and you put shoes on them. And they're made of recycled material like everything else, so I'm gonna paint them. This is what's known as a Hamangia thinker. You may think this is some kind of modern sculpture, but actually it's a Romanian, it's from a Romanian figure that's thousands of years old. So a lot of that sort of neo-prehistoric art was inspired by things like this, the Hamangia thinker. You can see the support's messed up a little bit. That's basically worked. That's all smoothable. More shoe feet. I think these are size 7. Size 7 men's, smaller for women. We make them slightly smaller than the actual feet would be in a size 7 so that the shoes can fit on more easily, since this is obviously not flexible like a real foot would be. Now, if you guys, any of you guys have ever had some kind of shop out there, you probably are familiar with the idea that it's easy to get hung up on bad reviews. Like, I have a 5-star rating, which means that I probably get over 30 good reviews for every bad review, which is pretty good, honestly. It's like, it was really hard to get to that point, but we've got 4,600 reviews, and that's the case now. But sometimes I like to focus on the good reviews, and this is one of my favorite ones ever. This is for one of the giant coffee cups. Look at this. Look how hilarious that is. This is a thing I touched and made and painted. Look how happy they are. Look how funny this is. They only wrote like, we absolutely love it, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't very verbose. But that picture, it's amazing. This is, when I made the giant coffee cup, I wanted to get a picture like this. This is what you dream about when you make an absurd object. This is a dream come true, literally. Here's another one. This is a message I got today. When I'm soliciting reviews, what I write is very typical of what I wrote here. Hi there, I wanted to check that your order is okay. What I would say next is, would you mind leaving a review if they give me a positive response? Obviously, if they say something angry, we take a different course of action. But they were like, yes, it arrived fine, thanks. I gifted it to the recipient, and they seemed like they were going to cry. That's a really, really good thing to read. That's the dream. Weirdly, the lady that bought the giant orange and giant blue coffee cups that you see at the beginning of the series, I've had 2 conversations with her, and she hasn't left reviews yet, and she seemed very pleased when I talked to her about it. God only knows why you're not leaving a review. So sorry, I got a bit of a cold today. Here's something I'll give an update on since it is part of the business, or will be, or something. I am a 10th of the way to getting monetized already. And I think maybe it's been 2 weeks now. So that means we would calculate it. Well, I'm not going to do the math on air here, but that's pretty great. I guess that would be 20 weeks. So that's 5 months, which is not bad. Plus, that's assuming no growth, and it's assuming that residuals from videos aren't going to have a compounding effect, which they very well may. Most things like that do tend to compound. So this is pretty good. It's time to paint eyes on the sharks, but the success, or at least the popularity of the pink shark, makes me think I should do other color sharks. Like maybe I'll do an orange shark and a red shark and a purple shark. I think people just like the sharks, and we want to give them as many kinds of sharks as possible. You gotta know where your bread is buttered, or where your shark is sharkered. Look at that big boy. I love sending these guys out the door. Okay, I thought I had more boxes than I did, but we gotta run out and get some. Maybe some coffee too. Look at that beautiful, fully inflated tire. Genius. Super hot out today. Glad I fixed the tire yesterday. Maybe I should ask a question in every video. If you're a 3D printing person, what's your favorite thing you've ever 3D printed? And if you just buy 3D printed things, what's your favorite thing that you've ever bought that was 3D printed? I think it is a special day. A red day ere the sun rises.
And then you're like, oh my gosh, they didn't even tell me you guys were sitting here. Like, I'm so sorry.
After a while, you learn all the lines. Yup.
I messed up.
Okay.
Sometimes I can blame the machine, not today.
Always blame the machine. That's how it works.
Oh yeah, it's like when I was a server and like, oh yeah, the kitchen paid for us, paid for food.
Yeah, pass the buck. That's what everyone else does.
Yeah, or like.
I don't know how this became like the undercover show of ordering coffee, but cheers. The phrase I was looking for was undercover coffee sting operation. Ta-da! They actually ran out of the heavy-duty large size. I guess I'm just gonna go with the normal ones. Generally, it's pretty worth it to get the heavy-duty ones with the double wall cardboard, but maybe I'll just put extra bubble wrap on it or something. They probably will have more by the time I come next time. Never mind, they just put them up here at the front. I'm glad they did have the double walled ones after all. It's been forever since I had something break. I think the last large thing I had that broke was a hammerhead that went to Korea. And we can ride the boogie. I'm gonna ride with you all night. Gonna go and ride with you. And me right round, baby, right round. All these songs are the same. I'm about to make some more bubble wrap. I think we have enough to package these guys, but we're gonna make some more. I've tried to think of cheaper ways to get boxes because they're not that expensive, especially when you're shipping bigger things, but it would be nice to cut down even on that expense. And I've never really found a way to do that. I'm curious if you guys have figured something out in any of your businesses. The closest thing that I've been able to find is that sometimes people on Facebook Marketplace are moving, and then they move, and then they have a whole bunch of boxes left over. But the problem with that is a lot of the boxes are really beat up and stuff, and B, there are a bunch of random sizes, and a lot of times they're not even big ones. Plus, it's like you're gonna have to drive, and then we got to sort through the boxes, and a lot of them need to be thrown away. And plus it's just not a steady supply, although little bursts of free boxes might help. But yeah, I've just never figured out a cheaper way to get boxes, and I don't know of a way of making them either. It's not like there's just a place you can buy a bunch of raw cardboard for really cheap and then fashion it into boxes. Although I guess I haven't looked that hard for such a thing. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you figured out a way to have cheap boxes or some equivalent. Really glad they had the heavy duty boxes. All right, it's bubbling time. Come on. Why is it getting stuck? All right, we've got a little plastic wrapped around the wheel. I think that's what's causing this. As my grandpa would say, it's always something. All right, we'll see if this works. If I have to, I'll just take this thing apart, but that would suck. I think we have liftoff. Back to this. You know where we're going. Look at that tire. K-Lines. When Kleins says wrap it up, they mean you wrap it up. Check this out. Remember that silver D20? 5 stars. Corgi for size comparison. Longtime viewers will recognize this. This is my way of keeping track of how many new products I've introduced. Each day gets a magnet thingy if I introduced a new product on that day, and at the beginning of every week we reset it. So this was pretty good. That's 6 products introduced in 1 week. The goal ultimately is to try to do it every day, but historically speaking, I have introduced an average of less than 2 products per week. And so this is 3 times that. And I would say since I introduced this, I've probably been doing about an average of 4 new products a day. And in the words of Tony Robbins, that which you do not measure, you cannot control. That's about it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.